Hey guys, I'm going to set these videos up for you. These were taken over about a 2-night period around October last year. We had a period of about a week where we had a lot of activity down on the riverbank, a lot of growling, a lot of tree snapping, a lot of footsteps, a lot of eye shine, and the video that you're about to see is broken up into 2 parts due to the length of the videos, and it was taken over 2 nights, like I said, October last year. I have to apologise for the quality of the video. I had a very poor torchlight due to a fading battery, so the visual is actually quite terrible, so I apologise for that. However, the value in these videos is actually the audio. What you're about to hear in the background is quite clearly the growling that we hear from our riverbank on a regular basis throughout the year. What the camera won't pick up is some of the other noises. You'll hear us talking about breaking of branches, footprints, huffing, that sort of stuff, which the camera just unfortunately doesn't pick up. Talking about the growls, on previous videos I mentioned that the growls are very similar to a koala growl. In fact, many of you listening to this video will no doubt be convinced that that's all they are, just a koala growl, and I could certainly understand why you would think that, and I certainly respect that opinion and very much welcome your feedback. Informing my opinion or my belief that the growls are in fact from a Yowie or Yowies and not just a koala. I've certainly taken into account a number of different factors. Now, I'm certainly not sitting here with 100% conviction saying that it's definitely not a koala. I haven't actually gone down to the riverbank at night and shone a torch on a koala or a Yowie and connected the sounds together. To be honest with you, I haven't actually built up enough courage to take that step to go behind the thick foliage and confirm exactly what it is, for fear of having my arms and legs ripped out of their sockets. Perhaps one day I will. But the factors that I've taken into account when forming my belief is, number one, the growls always come from the ground. They're always on the riverbank, behind the thick foliage, on the ground, and never in the trees. Now, I know that koalas don't stay in the trees, they do move along the ground, particularly in mating season. However, we get growls all throughout the year, and they are always on the ground, always behind the thick foliage, and they are always on our riverbank, never on any other parts of our block where there are gum trees and many other places where our block's covered in trees. The other factor is there is no gum trees on our side of the riverbank, which is where we predominantly hear the growls come from. Again, I know koalas don't stay in gum trees, but they certainly favour them, and there are no gum trees on our side of the river. There's a couple on the other side, and we do occasionally hear growls on that side, but predominantly the growls come from our side of the river. They are always on the ground, they're always behind the thick foliage. Another factor that influences my belief is the fact that they seem to be very reactive to my movements. So if I move to a certain place, it seems to influence when the growls happen, the level of aggression from the growls, and it certainly seems to often instigate what seems to be a communication between what I believe to be the Yowie. So growl will start from one point and then that'll transfer to another point, and sometimes can be up to 3 different locations at once where there's seems to be communicative growling going on between the two. And the factor that I used to take into account when forming my belief is the fact that there's so much other activity that's going on at the same time. It's not just the growls. On this particular video you won't hear it because the camera doesn't pick it up, but there are a number of heavy tree cracks or branch breaks. There's heavy footsteps moving along the riverbank. There's rustling in the bushes where we can't see. And also there's a number of occasions where we've had eye shine. On one particular occasion, which I would have loved to have picked up on camera, but you'll actually hear it when I talk about it on the videos. I saw a set of eyes behind the thick foliage that were widely set, that were standing at a height that would sort of be consistent with a large two-legged creature, and they were glowing orange and red. So it was rather freaky to see, but it certainly didn't appear to come from any of the traditional creatures we see in the Australian bush. And finally, the other factor which influences my belief is the fact that I'm not the only one that has this opinion that a koala growl, or sorry, a Yowie growl is very similar to a koala. I think I mentioned on one of my previous videos, I gave a couple of other examples where there are many other people that have formed the same belief and have actually connected a sighting with a growl. So it's definitely a very widespread belief that these koala growls, or sorry, these Yowie growls are very similar to a koala. There is some subtle differences there. To me, there seems to be something more guttural, more deep, in some ways more aggressive, and like I said, seems to be very heavily influenced by the movements I make, which I seem to think is quite interesting. Anyhow, that's all I have to say on it. Look, you form your own opinion, make up your own mind, give me your feedback, anyhow, just watch the video. Hope you enjoy it. Again, apologies for the quality of it, but I just hope you enjoy the audio, and hope you find it interesting. Yeah guys, give me your feedback, let me know what you think, and yeah, I guess I'll talk soon. Cheers. It's gone again. I'll have to get confirmation. It sounds so much like a koala, but the places and the times and that it does, it just doesn't seem consistent. It's funny how other reports have a Yowie growl similar to a koala. Yeah. Thumping. I think I got the sound, yeah. There we go, there's a log. Hear that? Footprints. Footsteps. That other lot before was on the other side of the river. I don't know if that one was too.
Yeah, but it was further over this way now.
Yeah, I know.
Koalas don't move that quick.
Unless it was another one. Hey? Down there as well. Let's go and have a look. Because there's growling. He's growling over there. Tell you what we need, Molly, right now. Lots of growls. These growls have been every night. Probably the last 3 or 4 nights. That's what we hear all the time down the riverbank. And it's very similar to koala. You know, could be a koala, but I'm suspecting they're not. Where? Hey? Yeah. So much lantana around here at the moment. Difficult to get a good line of sight anywhere. Oh, bloody sheep. Hang on. Come a lot closer than what I normally would. Riverbank. Where? Yeah. There is something moving down here though. Very quiet. I normally stick to the other side of the fence. But my curiosity's getting the better of me. Yep. Hang on. Hey? You want to? Something moving down there.
Really? On our side?
Yeah, it's just very, very quiet. Just like gentle movement.
On our side or the other side?
Yeah, just down in the trees there. What do you think? Hear it?
Yep.
Definitely need a brighter torch. Definitely need a brighter torch.
And I've been saying that for a long time. Keep grunting to your right, over this way. Where you said the other one was.
Grunting.
Yeah, like same thing I heard over to the left.
They're probably communicating, I would say. Which one's got the deeper growl?
The one to the left.
So you reckon that might be the big one? Hey?
Cracking at me into your left arm.
Yeah, there's two.
Or hand to the left, growling.
Heard it.
My left, I'm not there.
Yeah, I know. I heard it. There's cracking over here.
Hand to the left here.
I know. Shit, I can hear something moving over there.
Hand is warning you.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't get, can't stop.
I'm coming up. You know what I reckon?
What?
The one on the right here is the baby. Notice as I move to the right,
Listen. Hand is getting closer, you need to get back.
holy crap.
Can you see it?
No. Notice when I move to the right, it's when it started.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's the parent. Hey?
Yeah, we know, darling.
And I reckon it was warning me to get away. I think you might be right, Keeg. Hey?
Can we get the car?
Just wait.
No, just wait.
Yeah, I reckon it was warning me to get away from the right. You know how you said the deeper rumble was in the left?
I've literally got goosebumps. I'm freaking out right now. Huh?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's probably the best opportunity to film something. You'll probably get killed doing it.
What?
Is keep going down the riverbank when it's warning you. Because you know what it's going to do, don't you?
Well, do we know anyone that wants to commit suicide?
No.
So I reckon that riverbank, like I said before, it's like its domain, like it's its hiding spot. While we're up here, this is our domain and it doesn't bother us, and it's just curious. But we go down in there and we find it, it's going to get defensive, and that's what.
And look how it stopped growling now.
Yeah, I know. As soon as I backed off.
Yeah. I'm down here with Dad.
And it's funny how it was when I went to the right.
I'm here, guys.
That was sort of, that growling then, when I went to the riverbank, it got 3 times more intense than that night we first heard it.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously I was a heck of a lot closer.
Can we hear any cracking now?
We're just out at the fence to our bottom paddock. Been on and off down here, I don't know, probably about 45 minutes to an hour. Came down earlier after we heard some loud growls from the riverbank tonight on a couple of occasions. Went down to the riverbank earlier, obviously, and we've heard crackling in the bushes down along the riverbank, leaves rustling on 2 different places. Beck and the kids heard low growls, like as if there was communication between 2 places. I asked which one seemed to be the loudest growl, and she said the one facing the riverbank on the left, which is towards obviously the neighbour's place on the left. So I decided to walk to the one on the right, thinking, well, that might be the smaller, let's just say Yowie. So I walked that way, and the further I walked that way, aggressive growls started coming from the other end, which is where we heard the loud growl, the lower growls earlier on, and the rustling in the trees also. It got really loud. Believe the camera picked it up. So I stopped walking that direction. Beck was freaking out, the kids were freaking out. So I started walking back towards the direction of the growls, the loud growl, and it was aggressive, like it was warning me to not go any further in that direction. And then as I walked back towards the trees where the growling was coming from, it got even more aggressive, like it didn't want me to come any closer. Very similar to a few years ago when I went down to the riverbank and it got a warning growl as I approached. Because Beck was freaking, the kids were freaking, and let's just face it, I was freaking a little bit. I backed off, came up here behind the fence, and just watched from here. The growling stopped. We have heard further smaller growls, and also we're hearing intermittent crackling and leaves rustling as if something's moving through the trees down there. So we just keep watching. Not sure if I'm game enough to head down to the bank by myself, even with someone else for that matter. I sort of feel the riverbank's their hiding place, and I feel if I invade that territory they're going to defend it. They're going to be a little bit protective, whereas while we're up here, sort of our area, they're curious, Alright, just heard walking behind me, it's just the sheep. It's a little bit freaky down here, let's just face it. I'm just watching the bank at the moment. So we just continue to hear the walking and the creaking and the moving down on the bank. Still hear the odd growl. But I'm not going down by myself. I don't really want my arms ripped from their shoulder sockets. I got a little bit gamer tonight. I actually walked down to the water, which is something I haven't done since I've been aware of all the stuff going on here. So I am getting a little bit more willing to take risks, just simply because I'd like to get some footage and get some real hard evidence that these Yowies exist. I did see it the other night. What I believe was a Yowie walking down our driveway. It was at about 3 o'clock in the morning. It was a full moon, so what I saw didn't have definitive features. I couldn't see hair, I couldn't see face or anything like that, but it was a rather large 2-legged creature walking down our driveway, and I saw that very clearly. Probably for about 4 or 5 seconds as it passed my line of sight, heading towards the riverbank. The dogs were going crazy, barking at the fence as if it wanted, like Cairo was the one barking. He's our Malamute shepherd dog. and it sounded like he wanted to tear strips off whatever was standing at the fence. Look, it would have been, we stayed up and watched for probably about an hour that night, just to see if we could see any more, but I think it actually heard us creeping around the house. It seems to have very refined and acute senses, so we heard nothing again for that night, but that was my first real sighting of what I really believe was the Yowie. I don't see why a human being, at least of that, or any human being, would be on our property at 3 a.m. in the morning unless it was drunk and disorientated, which it didn't seem to be, or if it had the intention to steal or get up to no good, which nothing's been broken into, nothing's been stolen. I really don't think it was a human. But we'll continue to try and get better footage and or some really definitive footage. We've obviously got some sounds, growls recorded, but we'll just keep waiting, watching, and hopefully we might see something tonight. And the bloody sheep just keeps scaring the shit out of me as it walks behind me. It's pretty dark down here tonight. Storm birds are going a little bit crazy. And it's just one of those eerie nights. Beck's gone back inside, I'm down here by myself. And just waiting for some more activity. Yep, just heard something then. To the right of the right-hand side of our property on the riverbank. More crackling. So there seems to be two. One on the left hand, one on the right. And I did hear growls from the other side of the river, so we could have as many as 3, maybe more out tonight. Talk soon.